While I'm all about cutting out the excess, being more frugal and living a more minimalist lifestyle, I have realized that there are some things worth investing more in. Things that genuinely make life easier, more enjoyable, and sometimes even more meaningful. So in today's video, I'm sharing 20 expensive things that, despite the price, have been absolutely worth it to me. Number 1, comfortable shoes. I have tried all sorts of shoes throughout my life. Expensive, cheap, good, and not so good ones. But whenever I have invested or decided to invest a little bit more in high quality and to get more comfortable shoes, I have never really regret that choice after. Because I think uncomfortable shoes just very easily create problems on your feet, like blisters and then some random aches or even like worse things after a while. For sure, there are great cheaper options out there, and also it doesn't mean that if a shoe is very expensive that it means that it's absolutely the best shoe for you and the most comfortable. I think the key is being willing to spend a little bit extra for a great fit, for a shoe that really, it feels like a hug when you're wearing them, if you can find that. So if you have an option between a good and a great, I would go for the great one. The second great investment is noise cancelling headphones. I think these are essential if you spend a lot of time in public places and really need to focus. So for instance, I use this when I'm at the library, when I'm trying to concentrate, when I'm trying to work, and when I'm, for example, on the bus and I just want to calm down, feel more peace and tune out the world, listen to my music, for example, or meditate. I also use these for my walks every now and then, not every time, but sometimes if there's a lot of, like, for example, construction noise, and I just want to listen to something or basically block out that noise even though I'm not listening to anything. So I do that sometimes as well. However, there's one caution I would say, or thing to be mindful of here, and that is that if you are outside walking, especially in the dark and there are cars, there's traffic, don't really use this because you will get hit by a car very quickly when you cannot hear anything around you and when you're just in your own world. So be mindful of that. 3. A place that feels like home. I think creating a home or the sensation of home isn't just about one specific thing. I think it can be a mix of multiple elements that make you feel at ease. But I think that there are 2 main aspects to consider here. There's the exterior, like your neighborhood, your city, your country. It includes the culture, the vibes, the people around you who make you feel like that you belong actually in this place. And then the interior, so how your home is designed, how is it decorated, how does it feel to be inside, like your living space. In this home where we live right now, it's a rental place, but we have been able to create that home very much like interior and exterior. I feel I really belong into this part of this city where I am right now, and that makes me feel good. So I don't want to forever live in this place, like to rent this, and definitely I cannot afford this. So one day when we will move somewhere, it's a good challenge for me to try to create that there, whether it's in Finland or in some other country, if we find a place that feels more like home to us in some other place. So I think the bottom line is invest in this, because having a place that you can call home, that feels home, is, I think, really, really good feeling and important for us. 4. Standing desk. If you work from home or have an office set up somewhere else, this could be a game changer for you. I started noticing these pains 2 or 3 years ago in like my hips and lower back, and I started to then think that, okay, I'm still young, I still exercise, I'm in a relatively good shape. How will this situation be when I'm 40 or 50? Is gonna be really bad. And of course at this point I knew that it comes from this lifestyle, or I'm just sitting when I work from that. So then I was like, okay, what can I do about this? And I found out about standing desks. I'm trying to be frugal, so my first attempt was to create this DIY standing desk using just the cardboard box. And that actually worked well for quite some time. It was a good first step, but I realized that looking down at my screen wasn't really ideal. So it just led to some different pains like neck pain and some nausea after a few hours of just looking down. So that was when I decided to just invest a little bit of money and get a proper standing desk from IKEA. Now I have this one, it's really good. It's adjustable, so I can raise it or lower it whenever I need to. And it has been really excellent. I don't remember how much it cost, but it wasn't too much. So whenever I feel that those familiar aches are coming back, I know it's just now time to stand more. And it's very good that I have the solution right there with me. I can stand or I can sit whenever I want to. Number 5, a pet. There was a time when I lived in a home with a dog for about a year, but I have to say that or admit that I don't really have that first-hand experience of living alongside a pet or a dog or a cat, let's say, from their birth until they pass away, because my family members were or are still allergic to both cats and dogs. But even without that experience, I really can understand the joy that pets can bring in your life. I think they can become your family members, and it's incredible how much happiness and joy they can add to your days. I know that they can be expensive, like usually you can get ones from shelters and they are not expensive, many times even free, but of course like the food and the doctor fees and everything can get expensive, but I still think that it's a new family member. It's definitely still worth it because they can bring so much joy, and that cannot really be measured in money. Number 6, good nutrition. I believe that investing in good quality food can significantly improve the quality of your life. I think it's much better than sticking to what we call here a student diet, so just eating noodles or macaroni because they are cheap and they keep the hunger away for a while. Because I think in the long run that's not really a healthy choice, because you miss a lot of nutrients your body needs even though you are not feeling hunger. If you want to buy some locally sourced or very protein-rich foods with high nutritional values, of course those can be really expensive, and that is kind of what I'm talking about here. But if you're on a budget, I think it's okay to not buy these organic local foods that cost a fortune. I think you can find a good balance here as well, but just remember that solely relying on simple carbs because they are affordable might lead to more health problems down the road, and that could end up costing you much more. Number 7, a proper winter jacket. This is super important, especially around here, and I think that it just makes the whole winter much more enjoyable. You can go out and enjoy those stunning winter days without constantly worrying about catching a cold. When I was younger, my winter gear wasn't really the best, which meant that I needed to layer up a lot, like under that jacket, just to stay warm. But if you invest wisely in a good jacket, you won't need to do that as much. The next one is online courses. I have bought quite a few of these over the years, and they have really made a huge difference in my life. I think online courses really fast track the learning process and help you save a lot of time. So whether you want to gain new skills, transform your life, or just improve one area of your life, these online courses usually, not every time, but usually offer the complete solution to that problem that you have or the thing that you want to learn. So unlike consuming content, for example, on YouTube or reading articles or blog posts and then trying to piece all that information together, these courses often offer this step-by-step guide or clear roadmap for that thing that you want to learn. I have invested in online courses also because they give me this accountability. I have a teacher that is teaching me something and possibly fellow learners on the same journey. All this just gives me that motivation to follow through, to actually make this transformation in my life or actually learn this thing that I really want to learn. I've been learning so much about language learning, fitness, communication skills, making YouTube videos, how to build a business, how to feel more mindful and peace, and all these different things. So that's why I cannot see myself stopping to invest into these either. And even though these have been expensive sometimes, they have been 100% worth it for me. Number 9, air fryer. We bought one of these last year for the first time ever, and it has completely transformed how I cook. So I'm not really a person who wants to spend hours in the kitchen cooking very specific meals. That's just not who I am. Maybe one day I will be more into that, but at least in this era of my life, I'm not. So having an air fryer has been an excellent way to prepare meals quickly and easily. Plus, I'm using way less oil than I was before when I was cooking things on the pan. When these first came out, they were much pricier and I wasn't really even considering buying one. But now you can get one for less than $100, and ours was maybe in the cheaper end, but it has been really fantastic and reliable. I think we got it with a good Black Friday offer, if I don't remember wrong. So if you would like to make your cooking easier and maybe healthier, getting one of these could be a good investment as well for you. I use this almost daily and it's really, really good. Number 10, bicycle. And here I'm not talking about, by the way, like an exercise bike or some really expensive road bike. I'm just talking about regular city bikes that you can use as a method of transportation. I think this is a really good investment because, first of all, I mean, it's good for your health, but it can help you save money because you don't have to always go everywhere by car, so you can save that gas money. And if you use public transportation a lot instead of a car, you can save on those costs as well. And I also think that this is a really good way to save time compared to walking. You can get places twice or even 3 times as fast. So if you, for example, commute to work on foot, then you could just use your bicycle. You don't even have to buy these like new. You can get used bikes, I think, for like $100 or $200. So they are not that expensive. I think what is really important to remember here is just to get a good lock, because it's so annoying if you get a new bicycle and the next day it is stolen just because you didn't have a good lock or you forgot to lock it completely. 11. Investing 10% of your income. This might not seem like an expense in the traditional sense unless you are making really poor investments and basically just gambling and losing money. So think of it more like planting seeds for your future. Take at least 10% of your income each month and set that aside. Invest that in a retirement fund. That could be, for example, a 401k or Roth IRA. I learned this while I was doing my research. Those are for the US. And then if you live somewhere else, like in Europe, for example, just some lower risk retirement fund is or could be a really good option. This is what my bank suggested to me. I had a meeting like a month or 2 ago and they told me all about this. I don't 100% like just to trust the banks, like, okay, you tell me to do that, so I'll do it. Of course, I'm doing my own research behind as well. So even though you cannot use all that money that you earn now, I think you'll be thanking yourself later because you will have more money when you retire and when you don't work anymore. And there's the compounding interest, so that the money that you invest now will be just growing and growing all the time. So by the time you retire, you shouldn't anymore have to count every penny. 12. Regular health checkups. I think investing in these every now and then is a really worthwhile investment, even if it seems expensive at first. I have experienced some sports-related injuries in the past few years, and I have thought that, okay, I want to save this money and not go to the doctor. It will go away on its own after a while. But there's a point where that will not probably just happen, that the pain will just stay there because that is coming from a lifestyle that you have right now and you actually need to do something about it. So for me, when there came the point that, okay, I have to renounce to something like spending time with friends and doing sports with them, which I love, I knew that, okay, now it's time to go to the doctor. And I'm happy that I went, because that doctor or those doctors were able to give me the treatment that I needed, the medicine that I needed. And then after a few weeks or months, I was able to go back to the things that I love, because I actually took care of the problem and didn't just think that, okay, it will go away at some point on its own. But I don't think that this is just about addressing pain either when it arises. I think it's also doing this preventative action. So for example, getting regular blood checks or checking your blood pressure every now and then to catch potential health issues really early on. When you tackle them this way and not when they have become already really big problems, you are probably even saving money. And it's the quite similar thing with the number 13, taking care of your teeth. For a while, I skipped really going to the dentist when I was late teenager, when I was a young adult, because I didn't have any problems back then. So I was like, well, if I don't have any problems, any pain, I don't need to go. So I didn't go for several years. After a while, when I was like, okay, now I should maybe go just for a checkup, I went. They were not too happy that I didn't go for a long time. They said that there are no huge problems with my teeth, so I'm kind of lucky in that. But if I keep going this route that I was going, it's not gonna be looking good like after a few years, or when I turn 30, 40, 50, 60, it's gonna be really bad. I have a friend who did very much like what I did, and he wasn't that lucky. He had way more problems in his teeth that I did. He did after those several years, and he had to pay thousands to fix those. And that was a good reminder, a good lesson for me that go there before something big happens, even if it's a bigger investment right now. Number 14 is dash cam. I'm sure you have seen those videos online, maybe on YouTube, where people are driving really recklessly and they are crashing, and without the dash cam, maybe it wouldn't be so obvious like whose fault it was. And there are also these like insurance scammers that they kind of cause the accident and then it's supposed to be like your fault. But we know that it's not. And without that dash cam actually recording that, you could be in a lot of trouble. So I think a dash cam, if you drive a lot, if you drive in places where there are a lot of traffic accidents, or you drive in the dark, this can really be your like personal security device if something were to happen. I don't drive that much. I don't even have a car in my name, so I don't have one of these. But I know that if I would drive much more, definitely I would buy one, like 100%. 15. Traveling. Traveling is something that has truly opened my eyes to the world, different cultures, and all kinds of people. If I had only stayed in my own country or my own city, I think I would be so much more narrow-minded right now, and I wouldn't have the gratitude for the things that I have here where I live. I would just take everything for granted, as many people here do. And of course, I wouldn't have all these amazing memories or good friends from all around the world if I wouldn't have spent money, if I wouldn't have invested on these travels. There's this quote that I came across when I was 19 years old that really stuck with me. I always wonder why birds stay in the same place when they can fly anywhere on the earth. Then I ask myself the same question. Reading this, I really had this light bulb moment, and it made me realize that with all the resources we have today, especially all the resources that I have living in a Western country that is happy and I can have a job and make money and all that, I don't really have an excuse to not travel and do something that I actually love and want to do. There's nothing really stopping me from doing that. And I know traveling can be quite costly. It can be more expensive or more cheap if you want to be more adventurous. If you want more comfort, of course, you have to invest more. But I still think that it is 100% worth it. The next one is fitness. There's really not much to argue against this. Probably you already know that this significantly improves your life quality, can extend your lifespan by years, and save you a lot of money in the long run. And I believe that our bodies are designed to move and be active, but so many of us don't do that enough these days. We have a different lifestyle than we did, or that we are designed to have. So do yourself a favor and give your body what it biologically needs and craves. By making a fitness a habit that you do every week or almost every day, you will enhance your mind, health, body, self-esteem, and overall life experience. And related to this one is the number 17, a sports watch. Wearing one of these during exercises like running keeps me really motivated. Seeing that, okay, last week I did that, my challenge or goal this week will be to do just a little bit more. And that keeps the whole journey, the whole progress for me very rewarding and joyful. That it's not just the same thing again this week and then it gets boring. There's always a little bit of challenge in there. Number 18, therapy or coaching. Sometimes you need a more personalized approach than what online courses offer. And that's where therapy or coaching comes really in handy, especially if you're ready to invest a bit more to get some very specific results. I have experienced both of these, like both sides of the table, being a coach, being coached, so like a mentee, I think that is the word, and then offering guidance or being a coach. And I just think that there's something profoundly human in this whole process. Like, it's the same as passing down the wisdom that you know to younger generations that we did for a long time, that you discuss the life situations, share insights, and equip others with tools to enhance their lives. I just think that this is a fantastic way to contribute to other people, to the society, and it's something that I dreamt of when I was much younger, like already 10 years ago. I knew that this is something that I really want to do. 19, a good accountant. While not everyone needs a personal accountant in many places across the globe, they can be incredibly valuable, especially if you have financial activities that aren't managed by your employer like I do. So I often think of it this way. So it's way easier for me to work a few extra hours in the industry or in the job that I know and I'm quite skilled at, to earn just a little bit like extra money, and then I can invest that into an accountant, than trying to learn all those years of experience and all those like very specific tax details that my accountant knows. Number 20, time off from work. Sure, work makes us money, but it's not really, or life is not really about money and earning money. It's about the freedom that money gives us and what we can do with that money, right? So if you are just focusing on making more, you are missing out on the more important thing, the finer thing there, just to get more resources. So it doesn't really make sense after all, if you understand what I mean. And don't get me wrong, I think work is really important and it brings a lot of balance to our lives. If I already was financially free and I didn't need to work, I think I would still work, because it just brings a lot of meaning to my life. But it's important to not lose yourself in the work and think that that is somehow more important than the things that you can do with the money. So remember why you are working in the first place and don't lose sight of that. Don't forget what is actually the most important thing for you. If you would like to see a list of inexpensive things that you should buy, then make sure to watch this video next. Thank you so much for watching. Remember to stay kind and meaningful in your own beautiful journey. See you in the next one. Ciao.